love hearing the updates on the research. It really gives us a wave of inspiration. Sometimes we need a little charge of that again. We started the Pancreatic Cancer Cure Foundation as a result of my sister, Amy, who obviously she suffered from pancreatic cancer. We learned how difficult it was to diagnose, how difficult it was to treat, just horrifying statistics. So we learned all these things and decided that we wanted to do something, and that something was the Pancreatic Cancer Cure Foundation. I think we are excited to be associated with and supporting what you folks are doing here, which is the work that's needed.
Thank you so much for your support, but your trust in us and what we're doing. Sanjay and Eddie and the whole lab, we've really benefited, so we truly appreciate your support.
I've always sort of thought about this disease process and sort of Fox in general as a family, right? And I think that is the unique part about this institution and sort of the way we do things. Everything is very sort of small, but that's not bad, right?
No.
And I think that offers the unique ability for us to work with Eddie's lab as a surgeon on the clinical side and develop ideas and projects that really cross-collaborate, cross-pollinate. And I think that's one area where I really do think Fox excels with.
And we really truly have built this enterprise of the three true pillars of research, at least for cancer, which are population sciences, basic sciences, and medical sciences. And we really are a multidisciplinary team where we truly talk to each other. So all of this patient-centered, holistic idea of research in pancreatic cancer is pretty much our vision in what we've been doing. The team is pretty big, and it's pretty big because of people like yourself, because a lot of what we do in the lab, so obviously we have grants and we get money because we have hypotheses that we want to test, and that's how grants are written.
Right.
But there is a lot more that is not necessarily hypothesis driven, where the majority of the really great discoveries in general in this world have come from, which is curiosity and observation. And for those we can never ever get grants. And so for those type of, and all the people you see in the room, they're all supported by soft money. So the type of contribution that you're providing to us gives us that extra freedom to go the next step. The Greenberg Pancreatic Cancer Institute, that's what Sanjay and I co-direct together with Igor Asisturo. And it is that multidisciplinary, holistic, looking at the entire patient, their mind and their thoughts and their medical needs, as well as the background research. That's what the Pancreatic Cancer Greenberg Institute does. This type of image really truly tells us what Sanjay is able to take when he conducts a WIPO. And when we as researchers look into the mass that he has taken out and showed us so we can do research with, we notice that unusual to other cancers, but super usual to pancreatic cancer, is that sea of blue that you see in there. And so that sea of blue is cells that are not cancer. The cancer cells are the orange ones. And so this huge tumor mass is a neighborhood of cells that are not cancerous cells that compose this very complex type of mass that Sanjay is taking away from the organ during the WIPO operation. The type of biology that we want to do is to better understand why this mass looks like that, which is mostly not cancer and yet so dangerous.
This is interesting. So this also sparked a lot of our discussions about ideas, right? So, Eddie just pointed out here, all that blue stuff is not cancer, but when I'm in the OR and I take out a tumor from the pancreas, all I see is this big fibrotic mass, and I can't tell what's cancer and what's not cancer. And when I saw this, I was like, what do you mean? All the other stuff I'm seeing in there is not cancer? right? What can you gather from the normal tissue that I take out at the time of surgery in terms of clues as to sort of why it became cancerous?
Exactly.
So that's the kind of cross-collaboration discussion that we have in our meeting that really sort of, that's the curiosity. That's something that we're not going to get a grant for because there's no idea really behind it, but that's the kind of stuff that we can continue to work on.
Right, so when Sanjay goes up to pathology, which he does in the middle of the surgery, he's doing the surgery and he himself walks the sample to pathology and tells them, this is what I'm bringing to you. He also asks the pathologist to actually take samples from the other parts of the other organs that go together with the Whipple, not just the sample that is far away from the tumor that the pathologist will say, oh, this is benign. So when he gives us or she gives us a piece of sample that is benign, it looks like the blue, even though there's no cancer there.
Right.
And then a different organ that needs to be, a little piece of it needs to be resected, the duodenum or a little piece of the stomach or something else, we also get samples from that same surgery, from the same patient, so we can study those cells.
What they see and what I see is a completely different sort of interpretation, right? So it's really important for the surgeon to be able to identify with the pathologist, like, this is what I think is cancer, mark it. Mark the margins, mark what's back, what's front, what's side, what's up and down, left, right. That's so important for just anatomy. The other thing is, if we don't go up there and advocate for the scientists, the tissues go away. Like they discard normal tissue. The freshness of the tissue in these situations is so imperative to what they need to do. And the fresher the tissue, the better it is.
Well, we're working with the cells alive. So once the specimen is out of the patient, the viability of the specimen is starting to decay.
Doesn't that speak to the nimbleness of our organization, or the size, if you will, where the surgeon is leaving the OR and directly walking over to pathology?
And it's those type of things that we can do that others can't, because we can do small, smart clinical trials that may test the feasibility and the safety in the clinic, but they also have a biological endpoint where we learn a lot from. So this is the team right now that you see behind you.
We're just in awe. We're absolutely in awe of what you folks do, what you're doing, and what you do. And you're all part of changing the world. You know, a little bit in your way, in a big way. You're part of changing the world, and it's just, I don't know that we even have the words to talk about what you folks are doing. It's a very big deal. Thank you for that.
So the money we get from people like yourself are for those expensive experiments where we can do a new screen or a sequence of cells that we want to discover those new, the things that we cannot really justify in grants, but are essential to drive those new ideas. And yours is one of those.
Good. Well, this is a different field than the last time you were here.
Oh yes. And this is what we do.
Yeah, this is impressive, and thank you for the explanations. It's hard. I know it's hard to explain what you're doing to people who don't live in the environment that you live in. And thank you. This is what it's all for. You know, this is it gives us a renewed sense of purpose and inspiration, and that's important.